How clear can a plugin name be? Arturia has released mixed drums and it does exactly that. If you are a bit skeptical, this plugin is just a selection of tools put together in a way that reflects the workflow of Emre Ramazanoglu, who co-developed this mixed drums plugin. If that workflow fits yours or not, that is something you need to find out yourselves. The tools you get are tuned for mostly the drum boss and in such a way that it will beef up your total drum sound or drastically add vibe to the drums, and does that in a musical and I think great way. When you open the plugin for the first time, you're greeted in the typical Arturia fashion with the option to do a quick tutorial. I have always found this to be very user-friendly. The plugin is two-band. One part of the processing is for the low end, the other one for the mid and highs. The crossover between these two parts can be adjusted, so if you set the crossover low enough, you can use the plugin as a big single band one. Now for the low and high band you get different tools to adjust the sound. There's no compressor, but you do get a clipper and transient shapers for each band. The mid band uses a tape emulation and 16 types of distortion, which are hidden away in a pop-up menu. Space offers two reverbs and delays. For frequency adjusting, there's a 3-band EQ with additional tonal or balance control. On top of that you get a noise processor. This one will add noise to the drum sound, and there are plenty of noise sources to choose from. This overall package makes that the plugin can steer into more noisy and gritty drum sounds, and that is also represented in the presets, of which a lot I really like the sound of. Here are some of those presets on a Clyde Stubblefield loop. The plugin is really made to make drums louder, both in perceived loudness as in actual level. That's why you will see me adjusting the output level from now on to keep a fair level for comparing with the untreated audio. There are a ton of presets, but as always when using presets in a utility-like plugin like this one, the results are very dependent on how the source, the original audio, sounds. I enjoyed the bus processing presets a lot more than the ones for kick, snare and toms. I didn't care much for these last presets on my audio material. But you might get a completely different experience than me, that's why it's so important to try out a plugin yourselves. If you like this breakdown so far, please make sure to subscribe and hit a little notification button so you stay up to date on the latest new plugins. This video is sponsored by DistroKid, the best choice for musicians looking to get your music onto streaming platforms like Tidal and Apple Music. It's fast, easy to use and affordable. Plus, with DistroKid you'll keep 100% of the royalties you earn and unlimited uploads. Starting at $2 a month, it's way worth it, and get an extra 7% off by using the link in the description. I recorded a few multi-track drum loops to play around with mixed drums. These drums are recorded unprocessed. It's very much microphone into clean preamp. Nothing added at all. That raw recording sounds like this. Let's start off more subtly, and with that I mean the difference in vibe, because the sound difference will be considerable. This is a massive difference for the better. The raw recording sounds way more muffled and lifeless, and the plugin with its enhanced highs brings this drum mix to life. I found that often it helps to adjust individual tracks after you found a cool sound. On the kick, let's roll off the high end, it's too snappy. The snare can also be less snappy, but I'll use a limiter now. It's a big difference compared to the raw recording in a cool way. Here is how I would polish and bring life to these raw drums. No talking, just drums and a plugin. I find that this plugin shines on the drum bus of mostly unprocessed drums. How it can lift drums and add grit is pretty cool, and mix drums is versatile enough to use less extreme as well. I already mentioned to try the plugin out yourself. Do that and find out if this plugin fits in your audio toolshed.